Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Legacy Speaks, and thank you so much for joining us for another installment of the Mind Your Business series. Today I have an amazing woman, my profile, my big sis, my sister friend, Chivonne Hippolyte, and she's here to talk to us about event management and event planning, especially her business, Abstract Elements Management Agency. So welcome, Chivonne.
Thank you, thank you.
So for those who have never heard your name or never heard of AEMA, can you please let us know about who you are and what you do?
Absolutely. Well, I am Chivonne Hippolyte, and I am a event execution expert. That is the title that I have deemed myself. I am also the CEO of Abstract Elements Management Agency, newly branded to Abstract Elements Corporate Meetings and Events. At this point in life, what we're doing is we are actually servicing corporations, nonprofits, private business owners, small businesses, and all of their event needs and I guess you could say celebrations. It comes to a point where most businesses and people will say, hey, you know, we have this thing that we want to do, whether it's a corporate training or it is an association meeting, and we actually come in and we help with the pre-planning, we help with the execution on site, and we give creative and innovative, memorable experiences for our clients.
I think that's very key, the creative and innovative part, because anybody can throw an event, but It's all about creating those memories, particularly for clients. And so what got you so passionate about events? Can you tell us a little bit about your backstory?
Yes, absolutely. So I've been planning events since I was like 6. I was always that one kid who was organizing everything and everybody, and I knew I had a knack for it then. So this kind of really started in my early days, and high school I was senior class president, and I got to plan prom and all of our senior day activities and all that good stuff. And I was like, I love to do this. I love to do this. But my heart was in medicine. So I went to the University of South Florida. I went to the University of Tennessee and also the University of Pittsburgh, and followed a career path of medicine, if you will. However, my work skill set and my actual work experience was always in events, whether working for the universities and some type of event planning capacity or doing programming and things of that nature. And then also once I graduated from these schools, I had corporate experiences planning events. What really got me passionate is to see an idea come together and exceed people's expectations. There's always a moment of creativity that people miss when it comes to doing mundane things. People go to meetings every single day. Meetings actually are experiences. So one of the things that I like to do and that we do at Abstract Elements is we take the mundaneness of your meeting, throw some creativity on it, throw some innovative thinking on it, throw some fun and experience to it, and we actually curate a event that is like no other. We don't do anything that's in a box. We are very opposed to the cookie cutter run-of-the-mill norm. So we really try to infuse creativity and flair into everything that we do, and our clients are very happy with our results.
And she's not lying, guys. She has corporate clients not only in the States, but as well as clients all over the world, in the Caribbean. She just came from Japan. And so it's just amazing to see your growth and your business as well.
Thank you.
And so as a woman who has been doing this for quite some time, can you give some advice to female entrepreneurs or just entrepreneurs in general, particularly those who are trying to start their business within the events planning industry?
Absolutely. One, I would say to get a mentor. It is very important to have somebody who is seasoned to be able to pour into your life and to give you just instructions on what to do next. Two, learn the business of being a business owner. That's one thing that I was not prepared for when I started my business. I literally left my corporate career and I started my business within 2 weeks of leaving my job. And I didn't know what to do. I had the skill sets to pull off the actual tasks at hand, but I didn't know how to run a business. And I actually had to sit down and go through a full year women in business course just to learn how to do the basic things that business owners do. Remind you, I was in medicine, so I had absolutely no background in what it took to run a business. So I would encourage you to do that, whether that's taking online classes or actually going to school to maybe get a certificate or something like that, or getting a coach. It's very important to have people in your corner planner that can help you understand what you need to do. Not every single thing that you see online as far as, oh, well, you need coaching for this, you need coaching for that. You don't need all those things to start a business. What you need to start with is your plan. You need to start with a budget, and you need to start with a goal and how you're going to expand. You have to know how to market yourself. You have to know what services you're marketing. That's one thing that I think a lot of us don't do correctly. Is it's like, oh, I can do it all. You can't do it all. You need to find your niche. You need to find what works for you and what you're good at, because you can't sell a service that you cannot deliver upon. You will make a bad name for yourself in this industry. I would also suggest that you become a member of Meeting Planners International, MPI. It's one of the biggest organizations and associations for people in this field. There's a lot of great networking and connections that can be made all over the world. You need that. And you also need to know who you are as that business owner. What is it that you desire to do? How are you going to bless the world with your talents and your abilities through your business? It's not just about making money. And if it's just about making money, it's going to become really bored for you. Right. Boring, I should say. It's going to become really boring after your first 6 months to a year. You could definitely prosper and do very well. But if your heart and your passion is not into it, you're not going to want to do it. So I would suggest those 5 things.
And she definitely dropped a lot of gems, so I hope you have your notebooks out, ladies and gentlemen. And you talked about creating a niche for yourself probably like 10 years ago. What was your original niche, and how were you able to evolve into what you're doing now?
Wow. 10 years ago. My niche 10 years ago was, I would say, it was a college market. I was doing events that serviced undergraduates and graduate students. So bringing in world-renowned speakers and doing programming to edify and to uplift the college student market. That was what I did. But I would say now I've evolved in a sense to know that like my purpose is with leading corporate meetings and leading meetings that matter, that change lives. Because every time we meet, we change the world. That's kind of how that, that I kind of subscribe to that thought pattern. So now I'm more so in the corporate association world, dealing with companies that are doing things that are impacting masses of people. On a smaller scale, I do work with entrepreneurs, like I said, in small businesses that are doing community related events as well. So I'm kind of still in this in between stages, but my niche really honestly is the corporate marketplace.
And I love that phrase, when we meet, we change the world. And that's something that's extremely important. And one thing I like to advocate is when business owners are able to come together and create impact. Right. And so I noticed that you have been able to connect via your speaking engagements, as well as your community events, and even with Coily Divas.
Oh yeah.
And so as a woman with many hats, how have you been able to manage all of those engagements and still have a sense of who you are as a business owner?
Oh man, I sleep a lot. I take naps a lot. I have a lot going on. So managing that process, I keep a very tight calendar. I try to get at least 7 hours of sleep a day, and a lot of people say that's too much. You're an entrepreneur, you don't have time to sleep. I'm like, no, if I don't sleep, I'm not a very nice person. Yeah. And I don't drink caffeine, so you will barely ever see me drink coffee. So I need my rest. But I think what's key in juggling all of that and juggling life as a woman, as a Black woman in America, you have to take time for yourself, and you have to remember, like, all of this can stop. Any and everything can stop. Your body shuts down, you're done. So you have to take care of yourself. So one thing that I try to do is I schedule into my calendar at least once a week, just like a 30-minute time span where I'm doing nothing. And it's very hard to just do nothing for 30 minutes because your mind's running. But I've started to practice meditation. I'm starting to do a little bit of yoga online using the YouTube app because I don't have time to go to yoga class. And just really getting intentional about what my to-do list is. I do write my to-do list the night before the next day so that I'm not trying to scramble and think. And I don't take long meetings. So sometimes you have clients that are like, well, we need to have a 3-hour meeting. Oh, no. We get everything accomplished in 45 minutes. And then that 15 minutes is worth questions, and or we're going to wrap it up and talk about the task to do. I don't like to do prolonged meetings because you have to keep the day flowing. But taking care of myself, cooking, trying not to eat out too much. So keeping the, natural things in my body, drinking a lot of water, getting 7 hours of sleep when at all times possible, and just enjoying the small moments. We get so busy and we forget that, we are a whole person. And then if you're a mom or if you're a wife, there are other people that you have to attend to and take care of, and those people can get neglected. So it's kind of like you get home and certain things you just got to cut off. So it's as if you had a 9 to 5. After you get off of work, you have life. As an entrepreneur, sometimes I don't get off of work and I have to take myself out of that mindset and say, okay, I'm home right now. What am I going to do? I'm going to cook. I'm going to clean. I'm going to read a book. I've been trying to finish 2 books for like 4 months, and it doesn't make no sense that I haven't been able to do that. But I'm just like, I'm being intentional. So if it's 5 minutes every day to do that one thing, or those 2 things that you really, really, want to accomplish, work on that.
Right.
And then another thing that I do is I take a spa day once a month. There's an amazing Korean spa here in Atlanta called Jeju. I will literally go on a Monday morning and sit there for 6 hours and just woosah. Because you need that. Your body will shut down. I've had that happen to me in 2017. I fainted and got a concussion. My body just gave out. And that was a wake-up call for me. You are going too hard and you need to sit your butt down. So I'm a little bit more aware of self-care now.
Good. Yes, being intentional and taking those same skills that you apply to your clients and your business and applying it to your self-care. Also, managing your time, that's extremely important. I personally am one that lives by my calendar, and I love sticky notes, the whole being Mary Jane kind of vibe.
Oh yeah.
Those are extremely important because we can get so consumed with our day-to-day life that we forget ourselves and we neglect ourselves. Like you pointed out, as women, we tend to do that anyway.
Yep.
And so it's important to try to make sure that you're putting yourself first, because you can't pour from an empty cup.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And have people around you who encourage you. Like everybody has their best friends or their family or a team. It's good to have people that support your dream. It's good to have people that can check you when you get out of context. And it's good to have people that will just celebrate your wins with you. So keep a small group of positive people in your arsenal, because they're gonna be there to help you when things get rough. One of my best friends is also an event planner and is also in this career with me, and she's the only one that I feel in my mind that understands what I go through on a daily basis. And sometimes when I have a low day, I have to call her and be like, girl, I can't do this. And she's like, yes you can. Don't talk to my friend like that. Yes you can. So have that support system, that 1 or 2 people that literally can uplift you when you get low, because being an entrepreneur is not easy. This is not for everybody. I can tell you that this is definitely not a career path that most people can handle.
Right.
And you have to remain strong. You have to think about the end product, and you have to first believe in yourself. One of the things that a lot of these books out here tell you about, starting a business, you need to believe in your innate abilities before you can go out here and make anything happen for anybody else.
Right.
Because as soon as one customer tells you, oh, I don't like this, or oh, you suck at what you do, your whole entire life changes. You think that you can't do it. So you need to know that number one, I can do it, I can accomplish it, and I can be whatever it is that I choose to be in this moment. That's really important to know.
Yes. And with that, because not only do the needs and wants of a client change, but also the trends change as well. So can you talk about the trends that you've noticed over the past couple of years, and things that have worked for you, things that you feel need to be thrown away in its entirety?
Throw the whole thing away.
Throw the whole habit away.
Yes.
Just stop. So what are some things that you've noticed have worked within your industry, and what are some things that just needs to be thrown away?
Okay, so trends that have outdated themselves. Program books. Do not waste money on program books. We all have phones. There are apps for this.
But what about the deers and the people who like the paper?
They want the paper. Well, we can print things for that, but it doesn't, like, you give them one piece of collateral, one piece of paper. Program books are obsolete. And it's funny because clients say that all the time. It's mostly the older generation, so we understand that. And sometimes you want a keepsake, but like, do a keepsake like this. I'm just going to bring this out there. This is an event that I did in conjunction with Vintage Socialite events. This is a Kokeshi doll that we used. This was a very, very good memento and keepsake and a takeaway for the guest of this actual conference. Program book was not. Do you know how many program books go to waste after an event? People spend, and I can give numbers on this, people spend an average of almost $1,500 just for 300 program books and or more, depending upon if they are, full color and 82 pages or whatever, and over 75% of that winds up in the trash. You just threw money away.
Or oftentimes the rooms changes, the time changes for the conferences and the workshops and stuff.
Yeah.
And so after you spent that money, it's just like...
You can't fix it, right? So use apps. If not, you can use meter boards that can be printed the day before your event. Therefore, all those last minute changes are done. Another trend that I think is dying is that people don't want to spend 8 hours in a meeting. No matter what you're learning, people need time to think. They need time to process. They need breaks. The attention span of most Americans these days is less than 3 minutes. So you have to give people bite-sized information, impactful information, but in a bite-sized manner. So the format of TED Talks is very, very popular now. We were so used to having speakers come up and they're lecturing for an hour like we're still in college, and like people are asleep, people are on their phones, or they're taking calls because a lot of people are busy during the day, or they have their laptops out, so their attention is diverted. So minimizing the amount of time that a speaker is actually giving a presentation is probably the best thing to do. Providing people with resources. So another thing that they would do, an ancient thing that we would do, is we would give you handouts for every single speaker, wasting more and more paper. At this point, put it on your website, make it digital, so that if the attendee wants that information or wants to see this person's presentation or wants notes from that, they can download it with one click. You have wasted no money. And what the other question you asked me was,
what are some trends that have worked for you?
Oh, that have worked for me. Oh boy. A lot of things have worked in the past couple of years. I would say I think my clients are more in favor of saving money by doing what I call a top-end budget. And what we do in Abstract Elements is we help you to assess what's truly important about your event, and we trim the fat, I'll say that. We also like to plan as if there is no sponsorship money involved. That's another big element of budgeting in this industry, and sometimes people can't raise the money that they need to raise, so we strategically raise it through registration or other means to make sure that the bills are paid. I think that another thing that's working very well for me right now is our communication strategy with our clients. We like to keep them at the forefront of planning, so they are involved. We have very consistent and very direct planning calls with them. They are involved in all of the decisions that are being made. However, they give us the autonomy to do what needs to be done on their behalf. I think also infusing fun into your event is something that is a new trend. So people are like, well, we don't just want to go to a regular networking event anymore. Like, it's just boring. Here's a name tag and oh, here's my drink, and then I got to talk to you about what I do and blah blah blah. So creating activities and creating experiences for your networking events or your networking hour, or whether it's a break, that's a good thing to do, and that's something that we've been doing. So for instance, at a conference that we just did in San Diego, we actually had a room full of balls. People literally picked up balls, they played dodgeball with them. The balls had words on them for them to connect with other people. They played dodgeball, they played catch. It was just like a 5-minute getaway to just go pick up something and do something, move. Getting movement in during your day. If you've been sitting hearing a lecture all day, you need to get up. You need to go get a cup of water, get some coffee, get some fruit, and then just have a moment of fun. People are still human beings, whether they're at work or not. So infusing some type of physical activity and or fun into your event is something that I found to be very helpful and works for me and my clients.
And not only are adults still human beings, adults still have like that child at heart kind of thing. And so like you said, creating those memorable moments, things that kind of pair something that was representative of of something that was in their childhood and then connecting it in that moment.
Yeah, like a room of giant adult Twister is hilarious, and especially if there has been alcohol involved, it's hilarious. But that's something fun to do.
Right.
Yeah.
And you were talking about creating those experiences for your customers, but how do you create experiences for yourself? I know you have all these wins, and she's definitely been winning a lot. And so how do you take time to step back and kind of accept and be in the here and now for yourself?
Be in the moment. When I'm at my events?
When you're at your events or after everything is all said and done?
Okay. I would say at an event, once everything is flowing and then we're able to just kind of step back and just like, oh, this was great. Every element that we planned is going just as perfect. Like, this is awesome. Taking in that aha moment. I think for me, I don't see it most of the time until the pictures come out or the videos come out. And I'm just like, oh my God, that was awesome. We did that. Like, that's when I think I really, really see it. But as far as taking a step back to kind of relish in what you've accomplished, when I do our post-event reports and our post-event surveys, actually learning what our attendees felt, what they experienced, what the client felt, how happy they were after the fact, what are the things that they would have liked to do differently, and or the things that they want to do differently for next year, planning ahead of the time. So those post-event feedback is what's important, and that gives me and my team the ability to say, wow, we knocked this out of the park, or hey, these are some areas where we need to tighten up, moving forward. But most of the time it's what the attendees say and their feedback about how great the experience was.
Awesome. And so with the Mind Your Business series, I like to pair mental health with the entrepreneurship journey. And so as an entrepreneur, what are some things that other entrepreneurs need to be mindful of when it comes to attending to their mental health?
Do not wake up every day and check your phone or your email. Take the first 30 minutes if you can, if not an hour of your day, to be with yourself. If you get up and pray, if you get up and meditate, or just get up and do yoga or whatever, if you just want to get up and have a cup of tea and read the newspaper, don't subscribe to the notion that you have to get up and immediately work. From those of us who are coming from a corporate background, we're used to that. It's kind of like, oh, well, I need to know what's going on before I get into work, or I need to check my emails and all that good stuff. Like, don't do that, because it's going to drive, it takes your mind to a whole nother place, and you haven't even centered yourself to get peace for the day. I find waking up and literally just reading or praying, doing affirmations, reading something that is uplifting, or listening to a podcast, and any type of what do they call it? Ebooks. Listening to something that's edifying, that's gonna make me feel like, oh my gosh, I can get up and attack my day. Then feed yourself. A lot of people do not eat in the morning. And like, I'm a breakfast person, so like I need that fuel. And regardless of what half of these diet fads will tell you, you need fuel in the morning. Coffee is not food.
Yeah.
So
thank you.
Yeah, like you need that. You need that. So wake up, drink a cup of tea or some lemon water, lime water, whatever suits you, and just take that first 30 minutes for yourself, and then go attack the world. Because if you don't, you're going to get bogged down. You're going to lose sense of self, and then you're just literally just going to be going out there just attacking and trying to fix and or get ahead of the game.
Right.
Another thing that's really important is just having a mindset of positivity. With all of the things that are happening in our nation, in our world right now, it is very, very easy to sink into depression, because we can't control a lot of the things that are going on around us. We can only control how we feel, and we can control the energy that we exert. I think it's very important that you speak positively of yourself. If you have to do affirmations, I have things written on my mirrors in my bathrooms and my bedroom that remind me of who I am and who God says I am, and what my talents are. Because at the end of the day, when you're consistently getting pounded by life, by work, by people, by situations, by finances, finances, by whatever it is, you need to be able to pull yourself up out of that negative place, because you don't always have people to help you do that. So it's a great thing to have a positive mindset. And if you don't know how to do that and you have absolutely no clue how to be positive, research those things. There are tons of YouTube videos that teach you how to write your own affirmations. I'm going to do it, one small shameless plug. I have a girlfriend of mine, her name is Rochelle Lynn, and she made these amazing cards. It's called the Success Script, and these are literally 30 days of positive affirmations for business owners. And as small as this may seem, and as insignificant as it could seem to some people, it's literally you telling yourself about your greatness and how your business will succeed. You have to speak life into the things that you are doing. So the only way that you can do that is to wake up in a good headspace and get yourself there before you walk out the door to, you know, attend the rest of the day.
Right. And that's extremely important, because in order for people to buy into your business, they have to see the confidence in you first.
Right.
And so when you're putting yourself in position to be able to not only pitch your business, but pitch you as an individual, that works 10 times over.
Yes. Yes. And just know who you are and know what you're selling. That's very important.
Is there anything else that you wanted to add to the I don't want to call it a podcast, but
to our sessions here? You can connect with us on social media. We do have a Facebook page, and you can find us on Instagram as well. We don't tweet as much as we used to, because we find that more of our clients and customers are visual. So you can catch us on Instagram at Abstract Elements Events. And please feel free to contact us if you have any upcoming event needs. We would love to work with you. We are located in Atlanta, Georgia, but we do travel internationally and domestically, and we plan everywhere and execute everywhere, and we love to to assist you.
And I'll definitely include all of her information in the description box below. Please be sure to subscribe to everything that she has. I'm telling you, y'all do not want to miss out on her gifts and her talents, because she is thebomb.com. But once again, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Legacy Speaks, and be sure to stay connected via Legacy SBKS on everything. Until next time. Yay! Bye.